Hello and welcome to another episode of Full Pass. In the last video, we saw about the first as well as the second week of embryogenesis. And in the second week of embryogenesis that we saw in the last one, we had discussed about the development of the inner cell mass or the embryoblast. And we had not discussed about the outer cell mass, okay, or the trophoblast. So in this video, we will be discussing about the second week of embryogenesis. In particular, we will be talking about the development of the outer cell mass or the trophoblastic cells. Clear? So briefly recapping on what we had already discussed in the last video. By the way, I'll be providing the link to the last video in the description below. So if you have not seen it, you can see in order to understand this video a little bit better. Okay, so recapping on the last video, a few parts about implantation, right? So implantation, it occurs usually between the 6th day after the 6th day of fertilization to the 10th day of fertilization. So implantation starts by the 6th day, that is towards the end of first week of embryogenesis, and it is usually completed by 10th day of fertilization. And where is the most common site? The most common site is, it is actually the junction of the posterior wall of the fundus and the body of uterus. This is actually the most common site. And what is the most common type of implantation? It is actually interstitial implantation, right? It is interstitial implantation. And what is this interstitial implantation? Okay, that means that the entire blastocyst, it is implanted into the interstitium, it is implanted into the stroma of the endometrium, right? So you have the uterine wall, which has got 3 layers. You have got the endometrium, myometrium, as well as perimetrium. The endometrium, myometrium, as well as the perimetrium. And you have the endometrium, you have this endothelial lining layer. Okay, there is a lining epithelial layer here. Okay, and beneath that you have got the stroma. That is what I have mentioned right now, the stroma. Okay, and what does the stroma have? The stroma has got the stromal glands. Okay, the uterine glands. So the stromal glands are here. Okay, they are actually opening out like this. They're opening out. Okay, and of course you have got the blood vessels that are present inside the stroma, like this. You have got the spiral arteries and all inside here. And this is actually the stroma. What I am highlighting in yellow is the stroma. Clear? So our blastocyst is getting implanted here inside the stroma. At what days? That is between the 6th day to the 10th day. Okay, where? At the junction of the posterior wall of the fundus and the body of the uterus. Hope it's clear. Okay, now when implantation takes place, okay, what happens when implantation takes place? You have got these trophoblast cells, okay, that are forming the outer cell mass, right? This is the outer cell mass. In this video, we will not be discussing about the changes that are occurring to the inner cell mass. We have already seen that. Okay, so I'll not be discussing about that. So what I'm going to draw here is the outer cell mass. This red one represents the outer cell mass, and inner cell mass I'm just going to shade in a color of blue. Okay, I'm not going to draw them individually in this video. Okay, so what happens is that these trophoblastic cells, when they come in contact with the uterine endometrium, okay, that is during the process of implantation, when they gradually penetrate through this uterine endometrium into the stroma, okay, the uterine endometrium is no longer called as endometrium, we call it as decidua. Okay, the terminology changes, we call it as decidua, right? So what is decidua? Decidua is actually the uterine endometrium itself, but after the implantation of the embryo. Clear? That is the decidua. Now if I draw a uterus, okay, I'll draw a image of the uterus like this. Clear? and this is actually the myometrium that I'm drawing here. Okay, so this portion, this shaded portion, that is the myometrium. Clear? That is the myometrium. And the uterine cavity, okay, so this is just for you to understand. This is the uterine cavity. Okay, I'm going to write it as UC. That is the uterine cavity. So what is this one? What I've highlighted in green, that will be your endometrium, right? The endometrial stroma and all those things. Okay, the endometrial stroma is here. Okay, I just drew that for you to understand. Now I'm going to draw it properly. Right. Now assuming that implantation has already taken place, I'm going to draw something. Okay. Like this. So here is your blastocyst. Okay. So I've told you inner cell mass, I am not drawing what is there in the inner cell mass. I am just drawing this trophoblast layer, okay, which has implanted itself into the stroma of the endometrium. Clear? So where is the uterine cavity? I am going to represent the uterine cavity as something like this. Clear? I hope it's clear. Okay, the cavity that I've drawn earlier, the trophoblast has actually penetrated inside it. Okay, and this is the uterine cavity that you can see right now. I'm marking it as UC. Clear? Now where is this decidua? Okay, where is the uterine endometrium after implantation is called as decidua. So what I'm drawing in blue right now is the decidua. Clear? It's there throughout here, all these areas. This is actually the decidua. Like this. The decidua is here. This is the decidua. What is in blue is decidua. Now in the last video you must know that there is this point here that I'm marking right here. Okay, what is that portion? That is the portion where in future the placenta will be formed. That is in the last video, as we mentioned, there is a connecting stalk that is going to connect our group of inner cell mass cells to the mother. Okay, there is a connecting stalk. Okay, the decidua that is present over this part, that we call it under a different name. We call this area as decidua basalis. Decidua basalis. Clear? We call that area as decidua basalis. Now there is this part of decidua that is separating our embryo. This is the embryo. I'm marking it as E for embryo. Okay. Now there is a part of this decidua that is going to separate our embryo from the uterine cavity here. Okay, that is going to be this area that I've now marked in green, right? That is called under a different name. That is called as, again, that is decidua, but it is decidua capsularis. Decidua capsularis. And the remaining part of the decidua that you can see in blue, here, it's here, it's here, it's here. Okay, what is this? This is decidua itself, but it is decidua parietalis. Hope it's clear. Okay, that is the three decidua that we are going to see. Okay, now since we understood that, we will gradually see what is happening, or the changes that are happening to the trophoblastic cells or the outer cell mass cells. Clear? And that is forming the core topic of discussion today. Okay, so once again I'm going to draw this trophoblast here like this. Okay, and you have got this inner cell mass here. Now this trophoblast is actually going to differentiate. Okay, this trophoblast is going to differentiate, and how is it going to differentiate? It is going to differentiate like this. Now what has happened? What has happened? Why have I drawn a sheath like covering around these cells? We'll discuss that shortly. See, this is the inner cell mass. Okay, I'm not going to explain the changes that are going to happen to this inner cell mass in this video, as we've already seen that in the previous video. Okay, so you see this pink highlighted portion. You see that pink highlighted portion? That actually is called as the syncytial trophoblast. Syncytial, of course, the trophoblast. Okay, it's also called as plasmodiotrophoblast. And the cells that are within, that is called as cytotrophoblast. Okay, they are also called by another name. They are called as the Langhans layer. Right, this is the same as cytotrophoblast. Same as cytotrophoblast. So what is the syncytial or the plasmodiotrophoblast? This is actually a syncytium, right? That means that there are multiple nuclei in this. Okay, it's actually these trophoblast cells as such. These cells also had these nuclei. Okay, and these cells were lying adjacent to each other. What happens in that some of these cells, the cell membranes in between them disappears. Okay, so they become a single cytoplasm with numerous nuclei in them. That is called as a syncytium, and it is called as syncytiotrophoblast. And the cells that remain, which retain their plasma membrane, that is your cytotrophoblast. Hope it's clear. Now what happens? Now what happens is that your endometrial stroma, you call it now as decidua. Okay, so this is your decidua. Imagine this is your decidua. Okay, you have these trophoblastic cells. What trophoblastic cells? Syncytiotrophoblastic cells, which are gradually going to invade into the stroma, or now we can call it as what? We can call it as decidua. So it's gradually invading into this decidua like this. This is your syncytiotrophoblast. Clear? And what is this? This is your cytotrophoblast. Clear? Now what I want you to know at this point is that the blastocyst, it is covered or it is surrounded by this trophoblast, right? And the syncytiotrophoblast, and as it enters into the uterine cavity, it is going to have the syncytiotrophoblast is going to invade into the uterine cavity. Okay, so I am just drawing a portion of it only here. Clear? So this is the decidua, and this is your syncytiotrophoblast, and this is your cytotrophoblast. Trophoblast. Clear? Now the syncytiotrophoblast, as it gradually invades into the decidua, it is going to develop certain cavities within it. Okay, where have we learned this before? Some cavities which are forming. Okay, you can compare it with the extra embryonic mesoderm, which are going to form certain cavities within them, which are later going to fuse to become the extra embryonic coelom. So similar to that, here also you have got the decidua, right? This is your decidua, and this is your syncytium or the syncytiotrophoblast. Clear? I'm just drawing it more thicker so that I can draw the lacunae inside it. And of course this is your cytotrophoblast. Now what happens is that there are certain cavities that are going to form. Okay, there are certain cavities like this that are going to form inside the syncytium, and these are called as lacunae. These are called as lacunae. Hope that is clear. Okay. So you have got this trophoblast. What we've mentioned till now is you have got this trophoblast, which is going to differentiate into syncytio as well as a cytotrophoblast, and this syncytio trophoblast, they are going to develop certain cavities in them, what we call as the lacunae, right? And next what happens, these lacunae, they gradually enlarge in size. Okay, this is again your decidua. This is your syncytio trophoblast. Clear? And of course you have your cytotrophoblast here. Okay, and there are certain lacunae, small lacunae. Now what happens is these lacunae are going to unite and they're going to form bigger lacunae. Okay, so what does that leave us with? Okay, what does this leave us with? See, suppose like this. Now you can note that there are actually pillar like portions, okay, that are, see here, one pillar, another pillar. There are pillar like portions of the trophoblast. What trophoblast? Syncytio trophoblast, which are separated by these large lacunae. Okay, so this is actually, this pillar like portion is actually called as a trabeculae. Hope it's clear. That portion is called as a trabeculae. Clear? It's actually a portion of syncytio trophoblast that is separated by these lacunae. Another section, if I am going to draw, what happens is that these lacunae gradually enlarge and enlarge and enlarge, they unite, and finally what happens is that your syncytio trophoblast actually becomes pillars like this, right? They become pillars that are separated by this lacunae. This yellow part I am going to draw. This is the lacunae that is separating them. Clear? It's everywhere. Okay, like this. Okay, like this, the lacunae. Clear? I hope till now it's clear. Okay, so when does all this happen? Okay, we need to know the time, right? So we learned that implantation is completed by 10th day of fertilization. So from the 10th to the 11th day, this is when what happens? This is when the lacunae are formed. Okay, please remember this. This is when the lacunae are formed inside the syncytio trophoblast. Clear? And gradually this syncytio trophoblast, within this, the lacunae are going to enlarge and enlarge and enlarge. Ultimately they will make these syncytio trophoblastic pillars separate. Okay, they will separate them. Okay, and this now syncytio trophoblasts are now forming trabeculae. Okay, that are separated by your lacunae. Clear? Now next what happens? This is your 10th to 11th day. Okay, from the 11th to 13th day after fertilization, you have something which is called as the formation of the primary villus, chorionic villus. Okay, it's actually the chorionic villi. That is occurring at the 11th to 13th day of embryogenesis. Clear? So what happens during this period? We have already drawn our trabeculae, remember, like this. I'm just going to draw it like this now. Okay, just a portion of it. Clear? We won't be drawing the whole thing. Like this. Clear? So these are actually trabeculae. And trabeculae of what? Trabeculae of syncytio trophoblast. And here you had what is called as your cytotrophoblast. Clear? This is cytotrophoblast. Now what happens during the formation of the primary villus is that these cytotrophoblastic cells, they begin to enter into the syncytial troph here like this. They begin to grow into this. Clear? Here also. Here also. Right. So what is this space that I have drawn here in yellow? Those are your lacuna, of course, and the pink one here, that is your syncytiotrophoblast, and this is your cytotrophoblast. So this is okay, cytotrophoblast. So your syncytiotrophoblast along with the cytotrophoblast, it's together forming what is called as your primary villi, chorionic villi. Primary, this is primary chorionic villi. And when is it formed? It's formed during the 11th to 13th day of fertilization. Clear? Now what happens? From this stage, it is again, okay, there are some changes that are again occurring. Same thing I'm going to draw here, right? But I'm just going to draw 2 this time because to save our time, okay? Otherwise this video is going to be very big. So this is your syncytiotrophoblast, and of course you have your cytotrophoblastic cells that are growing into this. I'm just going to represent them by a thick red line, okay, because I'm going to draw something in between, a thick red line. See here also, right? This is actually the cytotrophoblastic cells which have grown into the syncytiotrophoblastic cells. And you have what is beneath the cytotrophoblast. Here you have something else. I'm going to represent it as blue, with blue color. What is this? This is the EEM, or the extra embryonic mesoderm, right? Where have the extra embryonic mesoderm formed from? The extra embryonic mesoderm have formed from your yolk sac, your primary yolk sac, right? From the hypoblastic cells, you have this primary yolk sac which is formed, and from this primary yolk sac you have the extra embryonic mesoderm that is formed, right? And this extra embryonic mesoderm is now going to enter into this space, right? So there I have made space for our extra embryonic mesoderm to enter. Clear? Okay. So your extra embryonic mesoderm is now going to enter into the space like this. Now what is our villus composed of? What is a villus actually? It is actually finger-like projections, okay? They are finger-like projections. Now you'll see that here this villus is composed of what all things? It's composed of syncytiotrophoblast. Let me zoom in here. Okay, it is composed of syncytiotrophoblast, and it's composed of cytotrophoblast, and then you have the extra embryonic mesoderm, right? These three things together, it forms their secondary villi. And when is the secondary villi formed? The secondary villus is formed during the 15th to 17th day of fertilization. So average your answer, you can take it as day 16, right? 16th day of fertilization, you have the formation of secondary villus. Now what is the 16th day? By 14th day, of course, it is already, we have finished our second week of embryogenesis and we have moved towards the third week of embryogenesis, right? So your secondary villus is actually formed during the third week of embryogenesis. But I am not stopping my video here because we want continuity. We are going to talk some more about the third week of embryogenesis, what changes are occurring to the trophoblast. So till now, recapping what we have learnt, you have your trophoblast, which have differentiated into syncytio and cytotrophoblast, and the syncytio trophoblast develop lacunae which are going to separate, which are going to of course unite and then separate your syncytium into trabeculae or pillars, right? And into these pillars you have got your cytotrophoblast which is growing, which is then going to form a primary chorionic villus, which is later going to become a secondary chorionic villus. Clear? And this lacunae, they are formed during the 10th to 11th day of fertilization. This is usually occurring, and the primary villus is usually formed during the 11th to 13th day, and secondary chorionic villus is usually formed during the 16th day. Okay, that is what we know till now. Next, what happens? You have this is your syncytio trophoblast. Okay, I'm just going to draw one single portion of this. This was your syncytio trophoblast, and you have the cytotrophoblast inside. Clear? And then you have what? Your extra embryonic mesoderm, right? Now what happens towards the end of the third week? Okay, what happens towards the end of third week? When is the third week ending? That is at the 21st day. Okay, at the 21st day and beyond, what we are going to see is that there are going to be blood vessels inside this extra embryonic mesoderm. Clear? Right? There are going to be blood vessels inside this extra embryonic mesoderm. Okay, that are going to transport fetal blood. This is actually the fetal blood. Okay, this is the fetal blood. So you have got these blood vessels, you have got these extra embryonic mesoderm, you have got the cytotrophoblast, and you have got the syncytio trophoblast. 4 layers. Okay, this is your layer 1, and the cytotropoblastic layer is your layer 2, extra embryonic mesoderm is your layer 3, and then you have the blood vessels which are forming the layer 4, which are going to form your tertiary villus. The tertiary chorionic villi that is formed on day 21 and beyond of fertilization. Clear? That is towards the end of the third week of fertilization. You have got the formation of tertiary villus. Now I said that this is actually circulating fetal blood, right? Okay. Now you know that nutrient transfer between the mother and baby occurs between the maternal blood and fetal blood. If the fetal blood is here, where is the maternal blood going to be? That is going to be in the lacunae or the lacunae. Okay. Remember how we said that the lacunae are going to unite and make our syncytium into trabeculae, right? And of course you have this cytotropoblastic cells here, right? You have got your cytotropoblastic cells there. And this space here that we highlighted in yellow, this was the lacunae. Okay, as the syncytium gradually invaded into the stroma had some blood vessels, stromal blood vessels. Okay, those blood vessels get eroded, and that blood actually enters into this lacunae or on these spaces. Okay, so what I'm putting in red dots right here, they are the maternal RBCs. Clear? So this is actually the maternal blood. Okay, it is getting pooled inside this lacunae, right? And you have your cytotrophoblast here. This is your extra embryonic mesoderm, and there are going to be blood vessels from the fetus here like this, right? So the fetal blood and maternal blood are not in direct contact. However, the nutrients can get transferred from the fetus to the mother. How? That is via this pathway. You have got your fetal blood vessels. Okay, fetal, I'm going to write it blood vessels as BV. Okay, from there it's going to enter into the extra embryonic mesoderm. Then it is going to traverse your cytotrophoblast, right, cytotrophoblast, and then it's going to traverse your syncytiotrophoblast, right. Then it's going to enter into the lacuna where there is maternal blood, and reverse also happens. Clear? This is how the waste from the fetus is removed from the body, and also how nutrients from the mother reaches the baby. Clear? Now one thing that I have not mentioned, while I mentioned about the primary villus as well as a secondary villus, okay, primary villus is most commonly found when? From the 11th to 13th day. Secondary villus when? From the 16th to 16th day in average. Okay, 16th day. The tertiary villus formed during the end of 3rd week, that is on the 21st day. There is actually a difference between the primary, secondary villus as well as the tertiary tertiary villus, apart from the difference that I have already mentioned. Okay, that is, see this here. Okay, I have just drawn the disc. I have just drawn a trophoblast here in general, suppose. Okay, you have got these primary villi as well as a secondary villi like this. They are growing like this. They are finger like projections. They are growing all around the blastocyst, right. This is a primary as well as secondary villus. They are growing all around your blastocyst. However, your tertiary villus, by the time the tertiary villus is formed, okay, tertiary villus only grows in that portion of the decidua, where the future placenta is going to be formed. Okay, I am saying this very slowly so that you can understand. So the primary villus as well as the secondary villus, they are forming all around the blastocyst. I hope you can see this. But the tertiary villus, it is formed only at that portion of the future connecting stalk. Clear? Now I said that the part of the decidua in the earlier section of this video, I hope you remember. We'll just scroll back there. We said that the decidua that is present at the part where the connecting stalk is, that is called as the decidua basalis. Remember? Right. Like that, you have got a portion of your chorionic villus that is going to grow as a tertiary villus only in that portion where the future placenta forms. So this is given another name. We call it as chorionic frondosum. Okay, we call it as chorion frondosum. And what about all the other chorion there? They gradually disappear. Okay, all the other primary as well as secondary chorionic villi that are formed surrounding the blastocyst, they gradually disappear, and so they are called as chorion. They are called as chorion leva. Sorry, this is E. Oops. Okay, this is E, chorion leva. Clear? So this is chorion frondosum and this is chorion leva. So these are actually the changes that are happening during the 2nd week as well as the 3rd week to the trophoblast. But I have already mentioned the changes occurring to the embryoblast in 2nd week. I have not mentioned in my video lecture series about the changes that are occurring during the 3rd week to the embryoblast. We'll see that later. But trophoblast, these are the changes that are occurring in the 2nd and 3rd week. So the purpose of this video was to understand the changes that were occurring to the outer cell mass or to the trophoblastic cells, mainly during the second week of embryogenesis, as well as we've already seen the changes that are occurring in the third week of embryogenesis. In the next video, we will be discussing about the changes that are occurring to the embryoblast during the third week of embryogenesis. We've already seen what happens during the second week. Now we'll see what happens during the third week of embryogenesis. I hope this is clear. If you have any doubts, please do comment them in the comment them below. And I've cut short this video, actually made it a bit smaller so that we'll be able to make shorter videos, right? If there is something that you did not understand, please do mention it in the comment section so that we can explain it in detail. Thank you.